gone. I won't waste another one. Oh, darkness, it won't set me back again. Oh, my sleeper awake. I won't let the future escape. Oh, my sleeper awake. I won't let the future escape. Falling
Welcome back to the FIFAe World Cup 2024 featuring Football Manager. We are here in the football mad city, Liverpool, and we're about to have our third press conference of the day. We're going to be meeting the guys from Group A. Very much looking forward to it. It's been an entertaining day so far. The football has begun, and I'm joined by Lelujo, aka Kevin here. We're going to talk about what we've seen so far. Have you been impressed?
It's been one of the more interesting groups that we've had, I think. There's been some absolute chaos going on in this group, so I am very, very excited to hear what these guys have got to say.
Now, I know you're obviously a very well-known man in the scene. You love the game. You play a lot of the game. Last night, we finished here. You went and did a little bit of an experiment, didn't you? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, because I'm a cool guy. So I went and sat in my hotel room and didn't manage, but set up saves for all four of the teams that we're using today.
Okay.
And just literally set them up, holidayed through an entire season. This was the one club where that manager got sacked. So I think this is our hardest group.
So objectively, you're saying it's potentially the hardest challenge?
Yeah, and they were sacked for just being like sixth in the league about halfway through the season as well. So it was quite a harsh sacking. This is a team that needs to be winning the league.
Yeah.
And they were sacked before they even got to play in the Champions League because in Japan, you play the league season before you get into the Champions League. So, yeah, it's a tough league.
So if we are to see a sacking, and there's a good chance we do it in this tournament at some point, there's a chance it comes from this group.
I would say this is your most likely group to see the first sacking from.
Well, let's take a look at the other groups before we get into this press conference. You can see we've had two already. We've spoken to the guys from Sporting Club de Portugal and Dinamo Zagreb. Very interesting dynamics in there, including the two English guys, of course. This right now, we're going to speak to the guys representing Yokohama F. Marinos, obviously for their respective countries. Later on, we'll talk to the guys representing Brighton and Hove Albion. But this is our group, Kev. Any names that jump out of the page for you here? Any interesting stories or nations you want to shout about, you expect big things from?
I mean, I heard a little rumour that our Norwegian team have previous for winning stuff with this system.
We've also got a very interesting assistant manager in the Norwegian team, which we're going to talk about later as well. But Germany as well, a really strong nation in terms of football manager, player database. Yeah, you expect them to be strong?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some very interesting tactics showing up in this group as well. We've got our first examples of back threes, which we haven't had in any of the other groups. So yeah, I think there's a few of these guys are doing some interesting stuff that we've not seen in the other groups so far today.
Should we grill them?
Absolutely.
Let's ask them some questions. Right, we're going to introduce the managers now. Please join us at the press conference area. So we have Jafir Arslander, Turkey representative. We're going to be asking him some questions later via translation. We have Mikhail, who is the assistant manager of Belgium, representing Belgium in this press conference. We have Mats as well from Norway, Sven from Germany, and Mohamed from Saudi Arabia. First question, I believe, is going to be from Mr. Will Brazier.
Hi there. Question to Mohamed. Obviously, first of all, congratulations on the Super Cup victory.
Thanks.
But what on earth is going on in the league? We've seen, I think, one win, draws, defeats.
Yeah.
Kev's run the numbers. It's not looking good. Tomorrow, could that be your final day?
We have a bad striker, honestly. He's not scoring goals. We create like 20 chances per game, but no goals. We change his role, still no goals. Then we change him we put him as a winger. Then we won the last game. So I would say, calma. We got this.
Any questions next? Anyone want to ask next question? Just raise your hand and we go. Yes, please. If you'd like to stand up and let us know your question, please, sir.
Jonas from Germany. I've got a question for Sven. I've heard rumors that you will be getting a tattoo if you will win the World Cup. Are those rumors true? And if yes, what will the tattoo be?
I think some of my people from my community suggested I have to get a tattoo if I get sacked, if I manage to get sacked in this tournament. While I haven't agreed to it yet, I'm fairly certain I'm not going to manage to get sacked, so I'm quite confident I don't have to get a tattoo. That's probably the origin for that.
Chelsea's got a question for us.
For Germany, how are you able to communicate with your team with the language barrier?
So my persona in-game, he's basically swantastic. And he's not only born in Germany, he's also like of nationality in Japan, and he also speaks Japanese. So that's quite handy for that. And it really helps communicating with the player. But as for myself, like I think most of the people there, they language barriers are always a thing in football, especially for the Brazilians playing in Japanese, I think. So I think also the first thing we managed, or we tried when we approached the clubs, we tried to get like a language course for all the people playing there that are not speaking the local language, because especially like for the foreigners playing in Japanese in Japan, it's quite difficult if you don't speak the language, because I guess most people don't speak English too well there, or actually, yeah, it's probably difficult without that.
Question from Statman Dave.
Mats, obviously you lost the Super Cup, big defeat, but for me it was all about the philosophy, the counter pressing that you spoke about that excited me so much about you taking the job.
Yeah, so it was tough not winning the Super Cup. We have been dominating every game, I would say, statistically, and I think we have a lot more to bring to the table. Tactically, I think we are evolving. We're doing some creative stuff, bringing some inverted wingers on opposite fullbacks. Trying to find the balance. But yeah, I think play-wise we're doing okay.
Do you think Japan is ready for your innovative tactics?
Time will tell, I guess.
Thank you.
I've got a question for Mikel of Belgium. So, lost the Super Cup as well. You've also drawn, and you've been changing your formation as well. I think you started with the 4-3-3. You're now rocking a back three. Quite early in your journey to be changing formation. Is this something you were surprised you had to do?
No, I think at the start maybe we doubted a little bit our own formation. And after the Super Cup loss, we just said we have to believe in our own formation, and that's why we changed back. And I think with the transfer window coming up, we can make the right changes to play the tactic that we need.
Have you got specific targets in mind for the transfer window?
We also have a bad striker, so we want to replace him as well.
So we've got two managers. Obviously, you've all got the same squad, right? So you've got two managers saying you've got a bad striker. Do you guys agree, Sven? Have you got a bad striker? Is he working for you?
I think he's working fine for us.
Oh, interesting.
He scored quite a few goals there.
Mats, what are you saying about your striker?
I would say that there's room for improvement.
Okay, so we've got a few concerns. We've got some questions for Turkey as well. We're going to do that via translator. George, thank you for that. Turkey have won all their games so far, which is really good. Alongside, obviously, Germany, who've done the same thing. Strong nations. Does that make Turkey one of the favourites for this group?
Sizin grubunuzda sadece Almanya ve siz bütün maçları kazandınız. Grubun favorisi siz misiniz?
Öncelikle herkese teşekkür ediyorum. Grubun favorisi olarak kendimizi görüyoruz. Almanya'yı da tebrik ediyoruz başarılarından ötürü. Grubumuzdaki herkese başarılar diliyorum.
First of all, he wants to thank you for the compliment. And he thinks they are one of the favorites, of course, but Germany is also really strong, and he wishes every team all the best.
And a word on representing his country, Turkey. What does it mean on this stage?
Bu turnuvada Türkiye'yi temsil etmek nasıl hissediyorsun?
Ülkem adına çok gururlu ve mutluyum. Başaracağımıza da inanıyorum.
He is really proud to represent Turkey, and he is also sure that they make their best for Turkey.
Excellent stuff. Okay. Next question. Everyone else got a question out there? Yes, please. Assistant manager, I believe, Mats of Norway, has a question.
So you said we need a new striker. Will you buy me?
So I would consider buying you if you were a little faster, a better finisher, a better header. But if there was a room for unlimited international players in the Japanese league, I would love to bring you on board. But since I can only have 5 to the matches, unfortunately you have to be the assistant manager.
What people may or may not know about that is that Mats actually is in the game.
Yeah,
so he's a player coach of 6th tier Norwegian side, Havon. And also he tells me that he can play every single position, which I think is really important in Football Manager. So you should consider it.
He is very aggressive in the game, so have caution.
Very cool. Any other questions, guys? Yes, Will.
Question to Belgium. I walked into your booth earlier on. I said, were you happy when you drew Yokohama? You guys, you didn't look very happy. How do you feel later on today? And is that still playing on your mind as well?
No, I think we were maybe expecting another team, but I think everyone here is on the same play level, while I don't think everyone practices this very much. And I think that's just that interesting factor about this group. We can learn a lot, we learn all the rules, And I think it's just a very interesting group at the moment.
Got a question here on the second row.
Yeah, I've got a question for Mohamed. Obviously, league results haven't been perfect. I've heard outside there's a bit of fan pressure. There's a couple fans waiting outside. They're not too happy with the results. How are you going to deal with the fan pressure that's starting to build right now?
Well, I'll tell them just to wait. There are some improvements. We've done some tactics tweaks, and hopefully we'll do better. Familiarity is still there.
Michael's got some community questions for us, I believe.
Yeah, community question for Germany. Can you give us some insight about how your assistant manager Terry is going to support you?
He's actually has been supporting me today quite a lot because there's always this handling between like communicating, especially like with fans in the community, and also like hinting me at stuff I might miss when playing the game. And he's been quite active, basically speaking with the community, making sure any questions are forwarded to me. And also like organizing everything around us. So especially when we got hungry, he managed to convince our DFB friends to get some food for us. So basically just making sure I can focus on the game, play the game, and that's been just perfect for me pretty much. Thanks a lot, Terry.
Zealand, have you got a question for us, I believe?
I do. This one's for Mohamed. Just a change of tone. How did you manage to take the best photo of the entire photo shoot? And what was your inspiration behind that?
Well, you have a great camera team, I would say. The guys over there, they took like 40 photos. So definitely one would be good.
Kev?
Yeah, this one's for Matt. So I kind of wandered in as you were playing your Super Cup game earlier, which was about 2 hours into the session, and you were playing your first match. I just wondered if how that's going to set you up for having to play an entire season in 9 hours tomorrow, the fact that there was such a long delay between getting started and getting into your matches.
So I think the preparations we've done now in terms of adding coaching staff, adding scouts, setting the game up for success in the long run is going to pay off. So we were maybe too patient in terms of getting everything sorted as we wanted it to, but yeah, I can play fast as well, so it's all good.
Will?
A question that goes to you, Matt. Obviously, when I spoke to you earlier, you said that the 3-5-2 was the formation that you brought in. Obviously, you lost the Super Cup, but you're still sticking with that formation. League form has picked up, but do you think you're too stubborn with that? Is it too rigid? Have you got more in the bank, tactic-wise?
Yeah, of course we have more tactics to bring to the table. I just feel like the squad fits the tactic, and statistically speaking, we've been dominating every game. And sometimes the FM gods are not on your side, and you just have to accept it. That's why the game is so fun and so realistic. But in the specific cup game, we had almost 4 XG and then 0.3 against, and we lost still. And that's how the game is sometimes. So let's get some strikers onto the team.
Hearing that a lot.
Mediocre striker.
Statman Dave's got a question for us.
Yeah, question to Sven. There's rumours in the German press that you're signing a former international midfielder, and any truth in the reports about Toni Kroos moving to Japan?
That would be just lovely, but yeah, we're actually looking for like new players in the midfield, because I think right now we have like 3 players who can play the position. We're trying to get like a holding 6 and a like an 8 role, and yeah, we're looking forward to strengthen our squad in that regard. I don't think we can quite afford Toni Kroos, but it would be lovely. Maybe you can convince him for me. But yeah, let's see what we can do there.
I'll give it a go. I'll speak to Timo, see if he can put a good word in for you.
That would be nice. Thank you.
Menyu's got a question for us in the third row.
Yeah, this is a question for Saudi. I'm actually the brother of the Brazilian striker that you keep on bashing. Do you think that it's appropriate to be publicly denouncing your players like this? I don't think it's going to be doing very well for squad morale.
Well, if he finishes his dinner, I won't be talking like this.
We'll see you outside.
Sure, no worries.
Any further questions at all before we wrap this press conference up? I think that is it. So I want to say a big thank you to our guys from Group A. Very good stuff. Kev's going to join me once more. Bit of a debrief from that one. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it's some real bashing at that striker. I need to go and have a look at this guy and see what the problem is.
Some teams, he's scoring for some teams though. Is that got to be
well,
manager
I guess
error?
Some
no?
of them just know how to use him right, and I wonder how many how many stream VODs are going to be watched tonight to try and work out how people are unlocking that striker, because of course they can spy on each other, the little rascals.
We're hearing a lot of talk about XG, obviously, as we always do. You know, teams sort of seemingly dominating games, not finishing the chances. As someone who understands the mechanics of the game, how much can they do if that's a consistent problem? If they're consistently creating chances but not converting them, what can they do to make that better?
I mean, if it is a consistent problem, then it is just a case of trying different player roles, trying different players in that attacking role. I mean, if they are massively underscoring their XG, then you probably do have to kind of blame the striker for not finishing the chances. But like we said before, it's not affecting all of them. So there are ways to unlock this guy and get him scoring goals, and they just need to kind of figure out how to do that.
Yeah, speaking about XG, a team that is synonymous with XG, Brighton and Hove Albion. We're going to be speaking to those guys later. They're Group B. They're playing right now. You can see some of the games actually going on as we stand. We're going to look forward to finding out a bit more. You've got the Netherlands guys. You've got the guys from Spain there facing this particular challenge in the top flight of English football. So they'll be joining us on our next press conference later in the day. Now, if you've just joined us, or maybe you haven't quite got a breadth of how it's working here in terms of the scoring, how we're scoring it when you've got 5 different nations taking part in the same challenge, here's a bit of an explainer so you can see how we're scoring our managers here.
In the FIFAe World Cup featuring Football Manager, your road to victory is all about racking up those points. Finishing strong in your domestic league is key. First place earns you 50 points. Second gets 40. Third, 36. And so on. Progressing in continental and national cups also boosts your score. Move to the next round of the Champions League for 5 points, or in the Europa League for 3. Win these tournaments and you'll score even more. 15 points for the Champions League, 10 for the Europa League, and 5 for each national cup you pick up. Your managerial performance matters too. If the board are happy and award you a grade A, you'll add 10 points to your total, but get graded an F and you'll get just 2 points. And don't forget the challenge of the day. Nail it and earn an extra 5 points each season. Every point counts as you try to climb to the top in the FIFAe World Cup featuring Football Manager.
Obviously, Kev, it's a brand new system. It's been put in place for this tournament. It's a kind of first of its kind, you know, a multifaceted approach as to how people are being judged. Nothing is going to be over in one season, would you say? Unless, of course, you get the sack.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of the groups, you would expect there to be a lot of success from the teams. I mean, in this group we've just looked at, the kind of expectation would be that they're going to win the domestic league, and it's going to be stuff like the challenges and things like the Champions League that are going to then start to separate them. But yeah, it's not all going to be settled in the first day, because you would expect them all to win a lot of stuff in that first season.
Maybe even having to win the league every year of the 3 seasons.
I think you probably have to. With a team that's got a media prediction of first, the board expect you to finish first. Quite apart from anything else, if you don't win the league every year, you are in genuine danger of being sacked.
So speaking of predictions, if you were to make one right now, just purely on results we've seen and the challenge they have, Saudi Arabia would probably be first in line for potential sacking.
Like I say, they're in danger because in my simulation, we were maybe a third of the way through the season, only about 6th in the league, and that was enough. So they don't have a lot of time to start moving up that league table and picking up some wins.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. We've got the 20 names of our 20 different players here, 19 nations, of course. How many sackings are we going to see? Give me a number.
I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see one from each group.
Really? That many?
I think one from each group is, I think that's... Not everybody is going to be able to win everything, and then if you don't, you're going to struggle.
That's the sort of the danger we're playing with here, is that if you get sacked, just like in real life, you're done. You don't get to go again. You don't get to start a new save. Your tournament's over. So there's a lot of jeopardy on the line, and we've still got one more group to go. Again, a different kind of challenge in Brighton and Hove Albion. We're going to be talking to those guys at 8:45 p.m. These are our 5 nations. We have South Africa, we have the Netherlands, Spain, South Korea, and Portugal. Would you fancy this one? If you got a choice of the 4 challenges, what would you go with?
I mean, I love transfers, and these guys have got the biggest transfer budget by miles. So yeah, this would be the one that I'd want to play in if I had the choice of playing in any of them. But of course, because of that, it's going to be the one that's probably going to have the biggest variance.
Yes.
Because you're going to see completely different squads be built really, really quickly. Whereas in some of the other groups, it's going to take a little bit longer to see those squads kind of change shape over time. By the end of season 1 with Brighton, that first transfer window in January, you're going to have huge incomings and outgoings from the club, and they're going to look really different by the end of that first season.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk to those guys later, 8:45. Make sure you join us for our final press conference of the day here in Liverpool. See you soon.